Long before people ever drew maps, there was a magnificent forest hidden beyond rivers and hills. Giant trees touched the sky, crystal streams sparkled in the sunlight, and every corner of the forest was filled with life. It was a peaceful home where nature and animals lived together in perfect harmony. Every animal had an important place in the forest. Wise Boro the elephant remembered every path. Clever Ketu the fox solved difficult problems. Cheerful Milo the squirrel stored food for every season. Curious Lina the rabbit explored new places each day. Tiny Pip the mouse quietly noticed things that everyone else missed. Together, they shared a peaceful and happy life. Then, one quiet morning, something impossible happened. The soft forest floor looked perfectly smooth. Every footprint from the day before had disappeared. There were no tracks to follow, no trails to guide the animals. The forest looked the same, but something mysterious had changed. The graceful deer searched in every direction, trying to find the familiar paths they had always used. They sniffed the ground, looked around the trees, and carefully walked through the forest. But every trail had vanished, leaving only silence and growing confusion. High above the trees, colorful birds flew from branch to branch. They circled again and again, searching for their own nests. Even the birds, who knew every corner of the forest, could no longer recognize the places they called home. Milo hurried from tree to tree, digging every place where he had hidden his precious acorns. One hole after another was empty. His happy smile slowly disappeared as worry filled his heart. Something very strange was happening throughout the forest. Wise old Boro calmly walked toward the river, following the path he had traveled countless times before. But after a long walk, he suddenly found himself standing beneath the very same tree where he had started. For the first time in his life, even Boro was completely lost. Soon, confusion spread across the entire forest. Rabbits ran in circles, foxes searched without answers, birds flew back and forth. Even the strongest animals could not find their way. Fear quietly replaced happiness, as everyone wondered what had happened to their peaceful home. While every animal searched far ahead, little Pip did something different. Instead of looking into the distance, he carefully studied the ground beneath his tiny feet. His sharp eyes noticed details that no one else had seen. Sometimes the smallest observer discovers the biggest secret. As the sun slowly began to set, Pip looked up and gasped. Tiny golden seeds drifted gently from the oldest trees, glowing softly as they floated through the air. They looked beautiful and harmless, but Pip had a feeling these magical seeds were hiding the answer to the forest's greatest mystery. Pip watched carefully as one glowing seed floated gently toward the ground. The moment it touched the soft earth, every nearby footprint slowly faded away until nothing was left. At last, Pip had discovered the strange force that was making every trail disappear. Very carefully, Pip picked up one glowing seed with a fresh green leaf before it reached the ground. The tiny seed continued to glow softly in his paws. It did not seem dangerous, but Pip knew this mysterious little seed held an important secret. Pip hurried to tell Ketu everything he had seen. At first, Ketu was surprised. Then he looked closely at the glowing seed and listened to every detail. The clever fox realized Pip was not imagining things. Together, they decided to uncover the truth. As darkness covered the forest, Pip and Ketu quietly waited beneath the ancient trees. Under the bright moon, thousands of glowing seeds floated gently through the cool night air. Neither of them spoke. They simply watched, knowing the forest was revealing one of its oldest secrets. The next morning, Pip led Ketu to a rocky hill where no trees could grow. There, every footprint remained clear and untouched. No glowing seeds had fallen on the stone. The mystery was becoming clearer with every new discovery. Soon, all the animals gathered to test Pip's idea. They walked across soft grass, where footprints quickly disappeared. Then they crossed solid rock, where every footprint remained. Everyone watched in amazement. Pip's discovery was true. As the animals wondered why the trees erased their trails, wise old Boro quietly remembered a story his grandmother had once told him. She had said that long ago, the forest protected its greatest treasures in ways that no animal could easily understand. Instead of searching alone, the animals chose to help one another. Birds guided travelers from the sky. Elephants cleared safe paths. Foxes led the smaller animals. Everyone shared the journey together. And little by little, fear began to disappear. The busy forest became calm again. The animals stopped rushing from place to place. They listened to the wind, watched the trees, and noticed the smallest sounds around them. As they paid closer attention, the forest seemed to quietly guide them forward. While exploring together, Pip noticed something unusual. One ancient hill covered in thick green vines had no glowing seeds falling nearby. It stood silent and untouched, almost as if it were waiting for someone to discover the secret hidden behind its leafy walls. Without footprints to follow, the animals created a new way to travel. The birds sang different melodies from tree to tree, and every song became a guide. Instead of following the ground, everyone listened carefully, turning music into the forest's newest map. Following the beautiful songs, the animals reached a hill covered with thick green vines. Boro gently moved the heavy vines aside, while Pip and Ketu looked ahead with excitement. Behind the leaves, an ancient stone slowly appeared, hiding a secret that had been protected for countless years. Beyond the vines lay a breathtaking crystal spring, surrounded by fresh flowers, young trees, and soft green moss. The water sparkled like glass beneath the sunlight. Every animal stood silently in wonder, knowing they had discovered the true heart of the forest. High above the spring, the wise old owl quietly spoke. Long ago, the ancient trees had protected this hidden spring because it gave life to the entire forest. If too many animals followed the same path every day, the delicate roots beneath the ground would slowly be destroyed. The animals imagined the enormous roots stretching beneath the forest, carrying fresh water to every flower, every stream, every tree, and every living creature. At last, they understood that the disappearing footprints were never a punishment. They were nature's gentle way of protecting life. Soon, a long summer drought arrived. Rivers became smaller, ponds began to dry, and the forest grew hotter each day. Food became harder to find, and many animals wondered if enough water would remain for everyone. But deep inside the hidden sanctuary, the crystal spring continued to flow with cool, clear water. Because the forest had protected it for so many years, the spring remained healthy while everything around it struggled through the dry season. The animals carefully organized a peaceful journey to the hidden spring. Birds flew ahead, singing the way. Boro gently cleared fallen branches. Ketu guided the smaller animals, while Pip checked every safe path. No one hurried, and no one was left behind. When muddy ground blocked the path, the friendly beavers built strong little bridges from fallen branches. Every animal patiently waited their turn to cross. Working together, they proved that kindness could solve problems that strength alone never could. Before long, every creature found a way to help. Pip searched tiny tunnels. Birds carried songs across the forest. Squirrels shared messages from the trees. Deer guided the elderly, and even wolves patiently protected the path. Together, the forest became stronger than ever before. As the animals reached the crystal spring, a young wolf slipped on the wet rocks beside the water. Before anyone could react, a gentle deer rushed forward and pulled the frightened wolf back to safety. In that moment, fear disappeared and kindness became more important than differences. Nearby, a heavy fallen branch trapped a frightened rabbit. A strong but gentle bear carefully lifted the branch without hurting anyone. The little rabbit hopped free with a grateful smile, reminding everyone that true strength is measured by kindness, not by power. For the first time, every animal gathered around the crystal spring without fear. Wolves, deer, rabbits, foxes, birds, squirrels, and elephants peacefully shared the same fresh water. The forest had become a place where trust was stronger than old fears. The ancient trees stood quietly in the warm sunlight. Their glowing seeds no longer drifted through the air. It was as if the forest itself had seen the animals learn its lesson and had silently accepted them as true protectors of nature. Soon, dark clouds rolled across the sky, and gentle rain began to fall. Rivers filled once more, flowers bloomed again, and fresh green leaves covered the forest. Every animal celebrated as life returned to every corner of their beautiful home.
Although the footprints still disappeared each day, the animals were no longer afraid. They followed the songs of the birds, the whisper of the wind, and the landmarks of the forest. They had learned that listening carefully could guide them better than any trail.
From that day forward, Pip became the forest's first trail listener. He taught every young animal how to observe nature, listen to birds, notice the smallest details, and respect every living thing. The smallest animal had become one of the forest's greatest teachers.
Seasons came and went, but the forest remained peaceful. Animals helped one another without being asked. Streams stayed clean. Flowers bloomed brightly, and every creature understood that protecting nature meant protecting each other as well. Each morning, glowing seeds gently floated from the ancient trees, and fresh footprints quietly disappeared into the earth. But now, every smiling animal understood their meaning. The forest was not hiding the way. It was protecting the precious heart that gave life to them all. As the golden sun slowly set beyond the ancient trees, the forest glowed with peace, friendship, and hope. Every animal stood together beneath the colorful sky, grateful for the lesson they had learned. Sometimes the greatest treasures are not meant to be found by following footprints, but by following kindness, wisdom, and the gentle voice of nature.
Did you enjoy this magical forest adventure? Then don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for more heartwarming animal stories filled with mystery, friendship, and unforgettable adventures. Until next time, keep exploring, keep caring, and always listen to the wonderful stories that nature has to tell.